Just a quick update on my book, Generations End. We're very proud to announce that it is now available on Audible. The book itself is narrated by the very talented Matt Godfrey. Check it out. I'll post the links below. And don't forget to review it. We'd love to hear what you guys think. Out of Spite, Out of Mind by Scott Meyer. I think I've said it before. The last time I think I reviewed the first book. This series has become a basic staple for me. Anytime one of these books is available for pre-order, I just automatically order it. As a matter of fact, I think I've listened to every book Scott Meyer has done to date, but I must say this series, I think, is by far my favorite. I don't know if it's because of the characters or because he just completely disregards the laws of physics and just sits down and writes a story with no limitations. So I think that's kind of one thing about these stories I personally love. One cool thing about writing a book is if you sit down at your computer, you're presented with a blank page. Nobody can tell you what to write. You can write any story you want. There's no budget, no limitations of any kind. Some authors do this very well, while others I think are still just a little bit limited. Some people want to write stories that are more plausible, others just want to write fun stories. I think Scott Meyer is kind of more into the fun story kind of a style. This series is a glaring example of that. For example, he has his time-traveling Brits who just go back in time and terrorize themselves. And so it gets a little confusing. You got all the different Brits appearing and disappearing, reappearing, arguing. And I think it's funny that it's mostly just her. None of the other characters seem to really do that too much. So like I said, no limitations. They travel back to medieval England and then they change a whole bunch of stuff. They build Camelot. Does that change the future? Nope. Brit goes back even further and builds Atlantis. A big crystal, beautiful world that has nothing to do with physics or anything else. Again, no limitations. When you fill one page, you can continue on to the next page. And if you're doing it on a computer, your computer will keep spitting out pages until you fill up your hard drive or your battery runs out or your power is cut off or whatever. However, too much of that can be a little bit tough to stomach. I've read other stories where they're stories from point of views of aliens and I just can't relate to any of the characters, so really tough to get through those. Scott Meyer does put limitations on his world. For example, characters can't travel past their own times. And specifically with the time travel with all the Brits, in this book, he starts to address the consequences. Still keeping a very imaginable world, but just giving it a few parameters that it needs to fit into. And these characters are starting to test those parameters. That being said, my only issue is a little bit of the logic that he uses at the end of the book in regards to why Brit the older and Philip are not together, but Brit the younger and Philip are. We finally find out why, but I just don't think the logic makes sense. That being said, I'm always nervous with books, especially when they get to be this long of a series, that they're gonna just end the series, call it quits, move on to another series. But it does seem like there's going to be another book after this, kind of an obvious ending for another book, which is awesome. And I'll probably get that one too on a pre-order. And I'll probably do a review on that one as well. Let me know what you guys think of this one in the series. One of my personal favorites, very light read. You're not going to get enlightened by listening to these books, but you will be entertained. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll talk to you next time.